Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we tackle your sources and find the brilliant insights hidden within. Today, we have a truly fascinating contradiction on the table. We are diving deep into the literary profile of an author named Jack Haynes. And he's a writer who is, well, frankly, he's kind of brilliant in his absurdity.
The profile's baffling. It really is, and that's the hook. I mean, we're looking at an author with a pretty substantial body of work, 21 distinct titles. And yet, as far as the sources show, he appears to have no current followers listed. Zero.
Exactly. It's like a ghost legend. He has this highly engaged, fleeting readership, and he maintains a really solid overall average rating, a 4.09 across 43 ratings. That's definitive success, but with zero community around it.
Yeah.
So our listeners looking for a quick but thorough understanding of Haynes's output, specifically focusing on that intersection of niche knowledge and his really unusual humor.
So our mission today is to figure out the gravitational pull of a writer like this, someone who draws high praise but doesn't seem to build a traditional fan base. And the core question we have to keep in mind is, what ties it all together? What connects general accessible trivia with these ultra-specific, often satirical survival manuals?
That's the puzzle. And that high rating persists across this huge breadth of topics. It suggests he's mastered something universal about how people like to learn things.
I think so.
So I think we need to define his core skill set first. If you're a learner looking for straight knowledge, that aha moment, without all the jargon, his flagship titles are the immediate entry point. They promise it right in the name. Starting with the iconic, learn a lot while you sit on the pot.
And we shouldn't just laugh off the title, because the content delivery it's expansive.
Okay.
I mean, look at the sheer scope promised in that one book. You've got science, history, sports, pop culture, technology, and even mind puzzles. It's structured to just deliver these rapid-fire facts across almost every category.
It's the ultimate curiosity buffet. And the audience consensus, despite some volatility between editions, it confirms that broad appeal. Our sources show the core trivia titles consistently rate in the high 3s to low 4s, which confirms people really do like his fundamental approach.
Right, and that impulse is consistent. We see the same thing in another major title, The Ultimate Book of Facts About Everything. This one adds animals, world records, inventions, space, and language. And again, a 4.0 average rating. So, steady approval.
But the real deep dive here isn't what facts he lists, it's how he gets them to stick. The element that ties all this general information together is that lighthearted humor wrapped around it. Let's unpack that, because that's what elevates it from, just a textbook.
Precisely. For heavy trivia to be engaging, especially for our learner profile who wants it fast and reliable, the delivery can't feel like work. Haynes uses wit and wordplay that it acts as a cognitive trigger. It lightens the load and makes it more memorable. It's basically micro-learning. Small, funny, instantly digestible pieces of information.
And we have the quotes that prove it. The style is classic, almost groan-worthy, but you remember it. Listen to this one.
Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana.
Oh, yeah.
It's a linguistic trick, right? Disguised as a joke. It forces you to pause and re-engage.
Yeah, it does. And he's not afraid to be self-aware about the nonfiction genre itself. That builds a certain rapport with the reader. It's like a little intellectual wink. We have that line about anti-gravity. I'm reading a book on anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down.
Yeah.
That kind of self-referential joke just makes it all feel more approachable.
So he's creating this little meta-narrative that encourages you to just enjoy the process of learning. But wait, if he's so focused on jokes and potty humor, how can we be sure the underlying structure is sound? Does that lighthearted approach risk undermining the seriousness of the content, the history, or the science? That's a fair question, and it's actually the key to his success. Despite all the lightheartedness, the material is still methodically organized. The humor is the sugar, but the structure is the functional medicine. We see clear organizational details, like references to Chapter 3, language and linguistics. So he's blending the serious, methodical organization of a reference book, the kind of competence a learner relies on, with the personality of a joke book.
Right.
And that combination is just really powerful.
It's the perfect blend. Structure for the brain, humor for retention.
Yeah, okay.
But now we have to shift from the broad G-rated trivia to the truly bizarre side of his bibliography, the highly specific applied knowledge manuals. This is where the humor veers into the absurd, but that commitment to structure stays the same.
And this shift is what really reveals his versatility. It's not just about knowing a lot of different things anymore. It's about knowing how to structure a complete, hyper-specific, actionable guide. even if the topic is completely ridiculous. The structure is the transferable skill here.
Okay, let's dive into the most unique titles, starting with the biggest surprise. His guide, How to Survive a Zombie Apocalypse, hits a perfect 5,000 average rating, a perfect score. And the sources detail the exact skills promised: how to defend yourself, build shelter, start a fire, find food, and escape danger.
Which is basically a wilderness survival manual. It's just applied to a fictional, high-stakes threat. The fact that it rates perfectly suggests readers really appreciate the instructional quality. So the satire here works as a vehicle for demonstrating real, structured writing competency. He promises practical skills, and he delivers them even if the premise is a horror trope.
Okay, that makes sense for a zombie guide. It's still recognizable instruction, but then we get to the extreme specificity of works that focus on very awkward, very human problems. This is where I start to question things a little.
You must be talking about the Ultimate Short Survival Guide. The title is certainly a commitment, and it does force us to ask if humor this lowbrow might alienate the audience that liked the trivia.
It's a genuine concern. But if we look past the embarrassment factor, what does the structure of that guide tell us about his skill?
It tells us he maintains his methodical approach no matter the subject. This guide is incredibly detailed in its promises. It outlines 5 specific, crucial elements for you: gut warnings, cleanup, odor control, rebuilding confidence, and making a clean getaway. That list isn't just a bunch of random jokes. That's a logical, sequential analysis of a crisis.
Wait, rebuilding confidence is listed as a crucial element right next to cleanup.
Absolutely. And that shows an understanding that a crisis isn't just physical, it's psychological. The fact that he applies the exact same structured thinking, identify the problem, provide sequential steps, address the emotional fallout to this topic, as he would to escaping a zombie horde, it just proves that his skill is instructional organization. Whether he's structuring pop culture facts or odor control advice, the method is sound.
That is an amazing point. That meticulous breakdown, even for a joke, is what appeals to the learner who wants actionable steps. So if you came here for actionable knowledge, these niche guides, even the silly ones, they represent that specialized applied knowledge. It's just focused on terrible circumstances.
And that consistency is what allows him to successfully jump into other niche fields like the workplace.
Right. The office environment gets the Haynes treatment with 101 ways to secretly ruin your coworker's day. It promises office pranks, endless laughs, sneaky tricks, and we see universally positive ratings there too. So this brand of specific, actionable mischief is well received.
Haynes seems to fundamentally get that knowledge acquisition doesn't always have to be serious. It just needs to be structured, accessible, and often, profoundly silly. The silliness is the glue that binds the broad and the specific together.
So we've established his mastery of trivia and his expertise in instructional absurdity. But we have to briefly acknowledge the sheer versatility of his other works. This is what really clinches the argument that his skill is presentation, not just subject expertise. He doesn't stick only to humor.
No, he's truly unrestrained by genre. And this is the surprise element for our learner. If you look further down that list of 21 works, the tone shifts dramatically. It goes into serious or fictional territory, often with equally strong ratings.
We find what look like autobiographical or narrative-driven works like Oscar's World. Growing Up is hard to do. That one holds a respectable 4.50 average rating. And then there's a perfect rated title, A Different Time, An Odyssey of a Soldier. That one gets a perfect 5.00 from its single rating.
That jump from writing guides on odor control to a deep, serious, personal narrative and a military odyssey is staggering. But if we follow our hypothesis, it makes sense. He can apply his structural competence, his mastery of finding that emotional or intellectual hook to any topic, whether it's local history, like the unrated country tales of Buckinghamshire, or deep personal experience. He knows how to organize and present compelling information.
So what does this all ultimately mean for you, the learner, looking at this bibliography? We've got 21 distinct works and that consistently high overall rating of 4.09, proving sustained quality.
The key takeaway, I think, is that Jack Haynes' true expertise isn't a single subject. It's the presentation of highly targeted, engaging information. He's mastered the art of finding the hook and making knowledge digestible, regardless of whether he's delivering a serious wartime narrative, broad facts about pop culture, or hyper-specific instructions for surviving an embarrassing moment. He doesn't need followers because every book finds its own immediate audience looking for that specific, well-packaged knowledge.
That sums it up perfectly. His works, ranging from the broadest general trivia to the most specific satirical survival manuals, all offer you a pathway to niche knowledge. And surprising insight, often wrapped in that signature humor. He's the master of the immediate takeaway.
And this leads us to our final provocative thought, something for you to mull over. The sheer volume and range of Haynes's writing, those 21 works,
Yeah.
combined with his ability to tackle subjects as diverse as pop culture and odor control, it raises a really significant question for you to consider. In today's saturated content economy, does finding a successful audience truly require extreme specialization in one field? Or does it just require the universal ability to make any topic, no matter how obscure or absurd, thoroughly fascinating through superior presentation and structure? The evidence of Jack Haynes suggests it might just be the latter.